In this operator lore video, we're going over Erik Thor, or better known as Maverick's extremely dark and depressing history that molded him into the person he is today. Let me start off with this famous quote from Maverick. "I was trapped for a long time, lived and seen things you couldn't imagine. Now I see things in a different light." Now, I know a lot of you guys were excited to see Maverick lore video from me, so here you guys go. But we almost didn't get this video so soon because in the poll I do on YouTube to see what operators you guys want to see next, it was a split tie between Maverick and Montang. I decided to go with Maverick because of the awesome comments you guys left on the poll demanding him. Maverick's childhood. Well, let's get going with this video and start out as we always do with when and where he was born. Erik Thor was born on April 20th, 1984 in the historical town of Boston, Massachusetts, making him 36 years old as of today. Erik was born into and grew up in a highly intelligent and multilingual home. For those of you that don't know, multilingual means multiple languages. So his family spoke multiple languages, which probably had something to do with that Erik was ranked in the top 2% for intelligence in his city. Maverick's parents were some very loving people, but also at the same time, they were very, very strict. A lot of us grew up with strict parents. I was lucky enough to have some pretty lenient parents, but would lay down the law when needed. For Erik though, his parents wouldn't even let him explore the neighborhood that he lived in. This led Erik to yearn and dream about exploring the world besides the same four walls of his childhood home. To no one's surprise, Erik Thor joined the United States Army after he graduated high school against his parents' wishes. He completed his basic training in AIT without any issues and actually rose through the ranks very quickly. Given that he grew up in a multilingual home, Erik Thor learned the language Dari pretty easily. Dari is the official language of Afghanistan, but there are many dialects to the language of Dari. Maverick became an intelligence officer for the military and was stationed in Kabul, which is the capital of Afghanistan, because of the amount of foreign reporters, adventurers, and criminals that flocked to the city. Maverick, being a very good intelligence officer, blended in with the locals and became very well known in the underground club circuit in the city. He even became a very good buzkashi player. I doubt any of you guys know what the sport of buzkashi is, so let me shed some light on you all. Buzkashi is a game where people ride horses and they try to get a goat carcass into a goal to score points. So this game is basically Rocket League, but instead of cars, there are people on horses, and instead of the ball, there is a dead goat. Yeah, sounds like a very fun game to me, I guess. Now, taking a break real quick, I want to remind you guys to make sure you like the video and subscribe, because we all know YouTube's algorithm is the toughest one to overcome, but anything you guys can do really helps me, and I truly thank you for it. Watch time is probably the biggest thing though, so hopefully I can keep you guys entertained for the whole video. Okay, let's get right back into Maverick's lore. Because Erik Thor was so good at blending in with the locals, he was invited to join Delta Force for the US military. Coming up is the most interesting thing about Maverick's lore, so get ready for it. Delta Force continued to station Thor in Kabul as the situation worsened there. He remained in the city and country to continue gathering intel, building networks of allies and safe houses, and also keeping track of hostiles. Now, as Kabul was almost at its breaking point, Thor would track and keep tabs of Americans there and rescuing them when necessary. He also would frequently help the locals escape the increasing amounts of violence of the terrorist insurgents that were there. This is the part where Erik Thor's life would change forever. Mr. Thor was investigating a missing American reporter when Delta Squad suddenly lost contact with him. The discovery. A whole 2 years went by after the disappearance of Erik Thor in Kabul, Afghanistan. Many thought he was dead, but some truly spectacular and surprising news arose. You guys aren't going to believe this, but Nokk actually found Maverick and brought him home. That's right, Team Rainbow's very own Nokk found Maverick. If you guys find Nokk interesting and want to learn more on her, I have a fantastic lore video that I will link in the description for you guys to watch. She actually has a very interesting lore as well, and it's one of my best performing videos, so go give it a watch after this. Now, she wasn't a member of Team Rainbow at the time, but I think that it's so interesting how Nokk and Maverick have a history like that. Now, here is the extremely bizarre thing about the disappearance of Erik Thor. We don't know what happened. I've searched bio after bio and can't find the reason why Maverick went missing. There are some theories floating around though, ranging from him being captured to voluntarily going missing to deepen his undercover missions. We simply don't know. What we do know is that Maverick emerged after Nokk rescued him with enough intel to dismantle one of the most major insurgency operations in the world. Knowing this information, it's still hard for me to determine what happened. Did he learn all this by being captured and listening to key information from his torturers? Or was he just simply undercover and off the radar? Whatever did happen though, it scarred Maverick for life, given his quote that we read at the beginning of the video. Fast forward some time after his disappearance, and Erik Thor gained the attention of Team Rainbow. He was offered an interview by Harry, the director of Team Rainbow. During the interview, Harry tells him that he has known about Thorn for a long time, even before his disappearance. Harry knew about all the stories of the magnificent intelligence collector that was Erik Thor. Harry tells us in the interview process that Thorn was often hard to talk and engage with due to how truly intelligent he was. He also said that Thorn would burst into excitement when the subject got brought up about Kabul or the sport of Buzkashi. The interview with Harry states that multiple times Erik Thor would show huge amounts of excitement and love for the city and culture of Kabul, Afghanistan. He even got a tattoo about the culture there. Even after what happened, he still has a tremendous amount of love for it. Thorn would talk about with Harry how the sheer amount of pressure his parents forced upon him was almost an overwhelming amount of sensory input that would have shut down most children. But Thorn would find a way to compartmentalize his emotions and deconstructed everything around him as a way to function. Possibly the reason why he loved the city of Kabul so much, even after all the things that happened to him, is going back to his childhood where he couldn't even explore his neighborhood, let alone another country. After the interview was over, Harry and Erik Thor shook hands and was offered a position on Team Rainbow. Thorn accepted it and officially received his call sign of Maverick. The device evaluation. Once a cadet becomes a member of Team Rainbow, they must complete an evaluation of their device or gadget they desire to specialize around. This time, Specialist Jordan Trace, or better known as Thermite, completed the evaluation. Let's listen in to the direct evaluation of Maverick's Shuri blowtorch completed by Thermite. I'll admit that not as much work was put into Specialist Thorn's torch as the Brimstone. He already had a fully functioning prototype that essentially did what it's supposed to do, albeit a shoddy, poor man's version. I gotta say though, it's amazing that he was able to even build the V1 torch with such basic tools. Specialist Kohan and I are experts at breaching and entering. Specialist Kohan, if you guys didn't know, is actually Ash, also a member of FBI SWAT. But SWAT designed the M120, which is Ash's breaching charge, and the Brimstone to raid the enemy and have the blast take them by surprise. When we were present with the Shuri, as Thorn likes to call it, we knew that its most crucial aspect was the low volume sound. The challenge was retaining that quality, but intensifying and accelerating the heat. Since the rate at which the prototype's flame was streaming would take hours to pierce through, adding acetylene and some propane into the mix seemed to do the trick. And we got one hell of a torch. Thorn insisted that we incorporate that tank he brought back from Afghanistan, which he claims has been with him since the beginning, whatever that means. Now with the evaluation done, I think that this is a good spot to end the video. Now, what do you guys think? Do you think Maverick was captured for 2 years, or did he voluntarily disappear? You guys can let me know by leaving a comment down below. Now, if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe with notifications if you're new. Now, with all that being said, yippee!